Hello everybody, Rainbow Red Panda here, and this is a glassesless and hatless Norton, and today we wanted to make a video recapping WrestleMania week because it was a very eventful week. As somebody who was going to go to WrestleMania but decided last minute that it just wasn't worth it, and actually no, not last minute, when the tickets went on sale, I was just like, you know what, nothing is gonna happen that I'm gonna really care about. I'm just gonna miss it. I'm gonna save the money. I'm gonna stay at home with my rabbits for their birthday because their birthday is April 1st. And honestly, yes, I stayed at home instead of going to Orlando strictly because my rabbit's 5th birthday. I didn't want to miss their birthday. So that's the main reason that I stayed home. Do I have regrets? Yes, I do. But we'll get into that later. If you know me, you watch any of my wrestling videos, you know what my regrets are gonna be. Probably. We'll see. But to start off, WrestleMania week started for the WWE Universe on Friday night with the WWE Hall of Fame. I get that they do it on Friday night now because the night before WrestleMania they do NXT TakeOver, but I kind of miss that the Hall of Fame was always the night before WrestleMania back in the day. Wish that they would kind of go back to that, but whatever works for them. The Hall of Fame this year I thought was pretty good. It was very long. Like, I'm very glad for everyone who went in. Everyone who went in was very well deserving. It was probably one of the shortest years for inductees. Maybe they just knew that everyone was going to talk forever. I'm not really sure. But they only had maybe like 6. And usually they have a lot more. As someone who's been to 2 Hall of Fame ceremonies, they are very long. You know, what you saw on the network is what people were experiencing. They didn't cut anything out. And usually there's a lot more inductees, I feel like, but maybe not. This year I was excited for everyone who was inducted. There wasn't anyone that was like, oh, you know, they're too old for me. Like, it just wasn't my time. I was most excited, you know, about Kurt Angle. I was really excited for Teddy Long. I was a little confused because, I mean, I knew Teddy most besides being the general manager of all the things that he's general managed. Like, I knew him most as being a referee, and they really didn't talk about his ref days that much. And maybe he wasn't a ref as long as I remember, but it seemed like, to childhood me, Teddy Long was a referee for a good while, and they didn't really touch on that. Maybe it just wasn't like his favorite part in his career, I don't know, but I was a little surprised by that. But overall, I love anytime the APA gets back together to induct somebody or to be inducted. I think it's great. I wish that they would induct them together. I'm hoping next year. Beth Phoenix was obviously memorable for a lot of reasons. I loved that she touched on China and that it got the reaction that it did. I think that China, you know, definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I was glad they didn't put her in this year, but I do think that in the future she does deserve to go in. So the fact that she was acknowledged by Beth was amazing. Tony Schimmel coming out and doing the Edge thing was great. I know that, you know, that's what Beth wanted, but it was kind of like uncomfortable for Edge, I think. So that was interesting. Kurt Angle's speech was perfect. I loved it. Rick Rude, his family did such a good job. Oh my gosh, I loved it. DDP, of course, was spectacular. The only thing that I wish they would have touched on, and I know that it probably wasn't a lasting impression to anyone else, and I don't even remember the name of this incident. I need to look it up, but I know that it did exist. There was one time when DDP had like a pet rabbit, and it was a storyline, and I wish that they would have talked about this rabbit, but they didn't. I don't remember its name. I just remember that it was this white rabbit, and it was a thing. I need to go and look it up now and watch it on the network, because it was definitely like in the WCW days. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, feel free to like link it, because everyone, like, I brought it up, she was like, oh, I don't remember that, and I know it happened. Like, I'm not completely crazy. It had to have happened. So overall, I think this would have been one of the best Hall of Fames to go to if I was going to one. I mean, I went to the one that Shawn Michaels was inducted to because he was being inducted, and then the next year it was the one that Mike Tyson was at, and who was the big Edge? Edge was nominated that year, and it was so great. I loved both of them. I'm thinking that next year they're going to induct The Undertaker, maybe. I'm not sure. And if you guys haven't watched WrestleMania, you haven't watched NXT, you haven't watched Raw, SmackDown, and you don't want anything spoiled, this isn't the video. Sometimes I will try and be spoiler free with stuff, but with this, it's not going to happen. It's going to be all the spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet, you don't want anything spoiled, because I do know some people that have managed to somehow like not have it spoiled and they haven't watched it yet. I don't know if maybe they don't have wrestling friends or what the issue is, but like if you don't want anything spoiled, don't watch this. Click away now. I don't think I've really spoiled anything yet for the most part, so just enjoy your day. And for the rest of you, I will continue on with my video. So the next night, NXT TakeOver, I thought that it was a great show. The tag team match between Revival and DIY and the Authors of Pain was one of my favorite matches. I really liked it a lot. Asuka's match was good, but I wasn't thrilled with the way it ended. Like, I don't think that they need to have Asuka as that kind of person that like needed to win the way that she did, but overall I was still happy that she was able to retain her title. The Bobby Roode Nakamura match was great because Bobby Roode won, and Nakamura, you know, has gone on to bigger and better things now, so that's fantastic as well. I'm hoping that Bobby Roode has a very long reign, but I am so looking forward to him getting to move up and go to Raw or SmackDown. I think that he would do better on Raw, but I'm so excited. I've loved Bobby Roode since I first like saw him back in TNA. I loved all the work that he did with James Storm. I love that whenever he won the NXT title that James Storm congratulated him, and I hope that one day James Storm makes it to the WWE and maybe there's some sort of Beer Money reunion, because I miss Beer Money so much. But I love Bobby Roode. I love everything about him. Like, he is one of those guys, he could easily be a heel or he could easily be a face, and no matter what, the fans are gonna still feel the same way. His theme song gets stuck in my head all the time. It's just, I don't know, Bobby Roode is just one of those guys. Like, no matter what, he's gonna get a reaction from you. Love him or hate him, you're gonna react to him because he's just that infectious, and I love it so much. So NXT TakeOver, I was expecting for it to be better than WrestleMania because lately the takeovers have been so much better. NXT has just been a better quality show, and I've really enjoyed NXT TakeOver way more than the pay-per-views that follow. This WrestleMania, I can't say that it was necessarily better than TakeOver, but the parts that were great were fantastic. The parts that were like not great, I could have just done without. But the great parts, oh my god. Okay, so the one disappointment that I have is that the pre-show had the 205 Live, the Cruiserweight title. I was really sad that Neville retained and the Austin Aries was not granted, but it was kind of, you know, he used Austin's bad eye as an advantage. I think that in the future Austin will definitely be the Cruiserweight champion. He definitely deserves it, but I was just so glad to see him back. I've missed Austin Aries for so long. I've loved hearing him on commentary, but I just missed seeing him in action. He is another one of those wrestlers that I have followed forever, and in a personal note, he is a really nice guy. I've met him a time or two, and he's really nice and awesome, and I get to wear his shirts to work whenever they come into town because he's vegan and I'm vegan, and my company that I work for lets me support vegan wrestlers, so I get to wear my Austin Aries shirts whenever he comes into town. So I think that's pretty cool. So keep doing what you're doing, Austin, and you'll get there one day. Other than that, the pre-show, like the Andre the Giant thing, it was cool. I'm really happy for Mojo, but like I feel like there was so much going on that I couldn't get completely into that match. The Dean Ambrose Baron Corbin match, I actually don't think that's like the one match I have not watched yet. I haven't watched it yet because WrestleMania on its own before the pre-show was like 5 hours, so we're talking like 7 hours worth of stuff. It's insane. WrestleMania on its own was fantastic. The two women's matches, I think, yeah, at WrestleMania, every title changed hands except for the Raw Women's Championship. That was on the main show because Bayley kept the title, which I was so happy for. I love that they gave it to her in a legit way. Bayley is one of my favorites. I feel like Bailey is the kind, if I was a wrestler, Bailey is the wrestler that I would be, because she just, like, I don't know, I just see a lot of similarities between me and her, and I love Bailey so much. I like Sasha and Charlotte and all of them, like, they're fine, but, like, Bailey is definitely, like, who I would want to be if I was a wrestler. The Triple H Seth Rollins match, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I like Seth Rollins and I like watching him wrestle. I can do without Triple H ever being in a WrestleMania. I think I say this every year. I think this is maybe like the second or third of these videos that I've made, and every year I say, like, Triple H can just not be in WrestleMania. That would be fantastic. But Seth Rollins got his revenge, so I'll let it slide. I really liked that they put Seth over, and that maybe he is being passed to the torch, and that maybe this will be Triple H's last WrestleMania. Not that he needs to stop wrestling altogether, just not on the grandest stage of them all. Let someone else have the spotlight. Your time is up. That being said, the tag team title match for Raw was, for me, the highlight and the highest point of the night. I had to work on Sunday during WrestleMania, so I didn't get to watch any of it live. I had a couple of friends who would message me during it, but they weren't giving me spoilers. It was just like little things like, oh, like this match is on, or like, oh, this match is really good, but they weren't like specifying what they were even watching. It was very vague. And then all of a sudden I was just getting so many texts from people who were like, oh my god, and I'm just like, don't, whatever's happening, like, I cannot watch it. Please don't spoil anything, because I didn't want anything to be spoiled. And so that tag team match, it started off as a triple threat. It ended up being a fatal four-way, and my favorite tag team of all time, Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, came back and they tore the house down. I think at one point the video of their comeback was like the #1 video on YouTube. Like, out of any video, it was the #1 video. I honestly did not see it coming. I knew that they had just signed with Ring of Honor. They were having a bunch of drama with Impact Wrestling, whatever it is they're called nowadays. They're having a bunch of issues with them. They were just on Ring of Honor like the day before WrestleMania in a match, and I had just bought tickets like a couple weeks ago for a Ring of Honor pay-per-view that's coming to New York, and the main reason that I bought it was because I was like, okay, the Hardy Boys are going to be there, like, cool, I'll get to see them again. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now that they are the new WWE Tag Team Champions. I am so excited. It's just one of those things. It's like they haven't missed anything. I'm hoping that this is their best run yet, that they don't make any of the same mistakes that they've made in the past. I think they're both healthy. They're both looking fantastic. They're in great shape. They're great mental shape as well. I mean, they're both married now with children, so they've definitely done a lot of growing since the last time we saw them in WWE, and I honestly could not be happier. I hope that they're here for a very long time, and that they get to develop all the things that they've been working on forever. That, you know, broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, they get to shine and do what they love to do, and the WWE gives them the creative talent. They give them the creative approval to do anything that they want to do, because, I mean, you can't delete. You can't delete the deleters. So I'm so excited for them coming back. It was definitely the highlight of the night for me, and it's just one of those things. I'm so glad that I got to experience it, you know, the way I did. It wasn't spoiled for me. It was perfect. And the low light of the night for me, you know, the Taker Rollins match, or the Taker Roman Reigns, oh my god, Undertaker Roman Reigns, who controls the yard. To me, it wasn't that it was a bad match. It's just, The Undertaker is the one superstar that I have left from my childhood, you know? Like, Triple H, I was like 5 or 6 whenever Triple H debuted, so The Undertaker is literally like the one constant that has always been there. And for him to be what looks like him hanging up his boots, you know, taking off his gloves and his coat and his hat and leaving all of his stuff in the ring, leaving it all in the ring, after his second WrestleMania loss. It was so sad. I somehow have not cried from it yet. I don't think it's sunk in. But if I go to WrestleMania next year in New Orleans, it's going to be truly not the same without The Undertaker there. So I do think that it is time for him to retire, and I think that that is the route that he's taking. But, like, I mean, hashtag thank you Taker, you know, trending everywhere, and he rightfully deserves it. He is so fantastic. So that was probably, I'm glad that it was the main event. I'm glad that it went the way it did. I know that Roman has to be feeling so many emotions, you know, being the person to retire somebody cannot be easy. You saw what, you know, it was like for Shawn Michaels to retire Ric Flair. I'm sure it wasn't that great for Taker to retire Shawn Michaels. And you saw with Roman Reigns, like, this is sort of what Taker wanted. You know, he told him at one point, like, right before he finished, he was like, no, like, you don't have the balls. You know, you don't have the balls to do this. And Roman Reigns just had to do it, you know? And he got it done, and I hope that he takes this seriously, because to be chosen by The Undertaker to be the one, you know, love Roman Reigns or hate him, you know, this was Taker's choice completely, and I believe that. And so, you know, we're gonna have to deal with him for hopefully a long time, because this is what The Undertaker wanted, so we all have to respect it. That being said, the two title matches, the Wyatt versus Orton match, I mean, I knew how it was gonna go down. I think everybody did. I'm not too opinionated on it one way or another. I'm just over it. It was an okay match, whatever. Like, I don't care. The Goldberg Lesnar match, same way. Everyone kind of knew what was going to happen. I was really concerned with the next night on Raw, how everyone was booing Goldberg and cheering Lesnar, which I wasn't expecting that, but... And then, of course, you know, the mixed tag match. John Cena and Nikki Bella won. Miz and Maryse lost. The highlight of that was that John finally proposed, whether that was scripted or not. You know, congratulations to them. I don't care, but, you know, everyone is happy. Okay. So, moving on from WrestleMania. Next Monday on Raw, it was great. We got Dash and Dawson. We got the revival. NXT call-ups are happening. Raw got Dash and Dawson. SmackDown got my favorite, Ty Dillinger, and Shinsuke Nakamura, which I'm guessing they're building up Shinsuke versus Miz at some point, or else him coming out when he did made no sense whatsoever. But I'm so glad that it happened. Other than that, you know, Raw, the crowds were great. The crowds were fantastic. I loved it. I loved seeing the Hardy Boys again. I love that Kurt Angle was named the general manager of Raw. So excited for that. I love seeing Kurt Angle doing what he does best, and that's entertaining us in one way or another. I know some other stuff happened on Raw, but I can't think of anything like truly amazing that deserves like more attention besides just the call-ups. You know, the crowds, as I already said, were amazing, as I expected, and I wish that I would have been there. So, this video has gotten to be pretty long, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna say that I wish that I had went to WrestleMania. I have 10 out of 10 regrets. And next year, I plan on going to New Orleans, so if any of you guys went, let me know how it was. Let me know what you felt about any of the things that happened during WrestleMania week, no matter if it's Hall of Fame, NXT, WrestleMania itself, Raw, SmackDown, any of it. And I will try to make more videos about wrestling in general, as well as comic books. I've been in such a weird, like, space lately, and I've missed making these videos so much, and I knew that this was going to be the first one that I made when I decided to resurface, so I'm going to try and make them more regular. I'm not going to promise anything, but it's good to be back. So I will see you guys with my next video, and hopefully it will not be 20 minutes long. So bye everybody!